Yeah, I can hear. So am I audible to there?
Yep, I'm holding you on a microphone from the phone. High technology here.
Okay, good, good, cool, cool. So as long as it's not Bluetooth, I'm good.
Yep, you're good. All right.
Okay, so good evening to all of you. My name is Sangam Manikkayam. I am a specialist system engineer covering US West and Canada for both Prisma, Access, and SAS. And my apologies that I couldn't make because I'm a Canadian, so I'm used to these snowstorms and stuff like that. But the flights, they were not prepared to take off.
Yep.
Okay. So so let me so who's going to proceed the slides?
Yeah. Just say when you want to hit next, and we'll hit next.
So as Aaron gave an overview about what Prisma Access is like. So Prisma Access is divided from a high level perspective could be divided into two parts. So you will see it in the next slide. Proceed to the next one, please. So Prisma Access, we started having this solution, architecting the solution by keeping multiple things in mind, like the current state of interconnections like MPLS or remote access VPN connections or unsecured access to internet or even cloud access like multi-mode cloud access security program, because accessing SaaS applications and find out what kind of data goes in there and stuff like that. So Prisma Access was born because of this reason, and it should be easier to consume. So Prisma Access has two parts to it. Go to the next slide, please. So as I mentioned, what you see in the blue ribbon is actually the connectivity layer. So Prisma Access addresses two parts of that. Like one is the connectivity layer to make sure that the different branches, either retail locations or branch locations, remote locations, or mobile users, people who are traveling or in the field, who may not be sitting within the secure perimeter of an office location and trying to access the corporate resources, because people are moving around and nobody is going to sit in one location and work. So people could be sitting at a Starbucks or having lunch and then try to work from there or meet from a customer location and get access to that. So they needed to have a secure connectivity, like be it an IPsec VPN or an SSL VPN, or even integrating with their existing SD-WAN solutions like CloudGenix. So CleanPipe and clientless VPN. CleanPipe is primarily from the connectivity from a service provider. Like if they want to give different customers, like a service provider, like a Verizon, who wants to give a CleanPipe access to internet, so that will be that connectivity issue. So it was handling these two objectives. Like one is the secure connectivity, and then on top of that, the existing key features of Palo Alto's PAN-OS next-gen firewall features like user ID, app ID, threat protection, like Wildfire, cloud-based sandboxing, URL filtering, and to add to that, having a unified or a common source, a single source of truth for storing the storing the log, access logs or configuration logs and what they are trying to do and stuff like that. So Prisma SaaS is slightly different. It's a multi-mode CASB. So just to make sure that, so it was trying to address these two security concerns, like a secure connectivity and then put a security service layer on top of it. So making sure that this specific user or specific user groups can access data center. So a secure data center access from any locations, be it from a branch. Like in Aaron's initial slides, we just saw that from the Aaron devices, like we can specify and filter specific kind of traffic which needs to be scanned for any specific application related traffic, or any specific URL which should be denied access, or those URL filtering categories and stuff like that. So it was acting as an interface between access to the data center or even accessing information on internet. And then public cloud, where there might be accessing SaaS applications where Salesforce or Office 365 or G Suite and stuff like that. So it needed to have a secure kind of access from multiple locations. So it was treating, so the solution would treat anything which is mentioned on the bottom, like the mobile users, branch and retail networks, or even headquarters or data center kind of access, to have a secure connectivity, interconnectivity, like a full mesh connection between all these points, like an HQ to a branch, retail, and mobile users, and then apply the security stack, like what you see in green on top of it, like specify the rules and policies, like specific user groups or user ID specific. So this user ID X can access a financial application, so that the financial application app ID would be deciding on what exactly they can do with that application and where exactly it is hosted, like whether it is hosted on the secure data center or it is accessed as a SaaS application. So that's how the solution works. And the security service, like the Prisma SaaS, is an add-on component which will act as a multi-mode cloud access security broker, which will also find out what kind of data is residing, like data at rest, finding out what are the users sharing on SaaS application, storage applications like Google Drive, OneDrive, Box and Dropbox and stuff like that. So try to make sure that whether the data which is shared with the right set of people and stuff like that. Now we can move to the next slide.
Before we do, mind if I...
Yeah, hold on, you got a question.
And this may be for you as well.
Yep.
That, I think it was the green layer. Isn't CloudGenix doing that as well? Or sorry, the blue layer. Isn't that the CloudGenix device?
Yeah, so the question is, he's asking about the blue layer, and he's like, isn't that the CloudGenix device? And the answer is, it can be. So the key is that with Prisma, the CloudGenix is just one point of the connectivity. Because what we do is we bring those remote office networks into the Prisma fabric and what Prisma and the security capabilities that it has, but we don't provide, for example, the mobile user connectivity. So we're a component of getting traffic onto Prisma to be scanned. There's lots of other ways that you can bring stuff onto Prisma as well. So number one, clientless VPNs and mobile users. You've got your headquarters locations that may be connecting with CloudGenix, they may be connecting with something else. The key is that you're not locked into either of us. I mean, number one, CloudGenix works great with Palo. We love Palo. We have a good relationship. But if you've got sites that don't have CloudGenix day one, you can still onboard them onto Prisma. And so that's really what they're kind of showing here, is that there doesn't matter the connectivity. Different connectivities work better than others, obviously. So I hope I didn't steal your answer, Sangam. Sorry.
No. You explained it in a perfect way. So
Yeah.
As Aaron mentioned in one of his opening slides, like an SD-WAN vendor like CloudGenix, like where we have 100% integration and partnership, is that customers who want to use an SD-WAN kind of an onboarding, SD-WAN fabric to onboard remote networks, yes. But for mobile users, like we can use in a separate connectivity option and get them onto the connectivity layer. So once we have them on the connectivity layer, that is where we can apply the security policies like data loss prevention scanning or encryption scanning or SSL decryption and stuff like that. So we can put all those security controls once the connectivity issues are solved. So Prisma Access focuses on the four main aspects of it, like making sure that get a perfect visibility about where the data is residing, who is accessing the data, what kind of assets are being accessed, so the risk associated with that. And then it gives a single pane of glass view of all the security components from a network security perspective, from an access perspective. And then you can securely and you can onboard remote networks as and when you get new remote networks or more number of mobile users. You can get those interconnected in a high-speed fashion, like you can automate those onboarding and all those things. So the thing is, to put in a simple language, Prisma Access is firewall as a service. So the consumption model is changing, whereas the basic feature set of Palo Alto's PAN-OS next-gen firewall features remains the same. It is only consumed as a service. So that's how it is going to lead into a reduced operational cost and complexity perspective.
Great.
You have a question?
Oh, you got a question?
Yes, we can move to the next one.
Hold on.
My question,
Oh, yeah,
my
go
question is, you mentioned like DLP, this layer inland, that. So I would think most of the data is encrypted end to end. So how are you able to inspect the data in Equinix? Like say a SaaS application
Yep.
establishes a secure HTTPS. How are you able to look at the actual data in the encrypted stream?
Want to go back one more slide? Okay. So Sangam, the question was, just to repeat, because I'm sure you probably can't hear, in the DLP and other types of capabilities and that we talked about a little bit, the data is likely encrypted when it's coming into the SaaS service. So how is Palo able to inspect and provide services on the encrypted data?
Access control list, maybe.
Oh yeah, got it. So the SSL and SSL decryption services as part of Prisma Access Service can take care of that. So the SSL decryption happens within Prisma Fabric.
Yep.
And from there, using a service connection, we can get those traffic inspected before heading it out.
Yep. So so to expand on what he's talking about, they do a SSL decrypt using methods, common ways of doing the SSL decrypt for all the security vendors. Palo's got a neat way of doing it where they'll basically do, you provide a CA and you'll basically be able to terminate those connections, and they can scan it and provide all their threat mitigation on those encrypted connections before actually forwarding it out.
Okay, so it's legitimate in the middle, so
Exactly.
you get privileges from your
Exactly.
SaaS provider.
Yeah, that's part of the setup. Yep. It's actually,
Probably a legal agreement.
it's either, depending on how they do it, and I think, for example, like their CASB product, I believe, does it a little differently. But like, for example, general enterprise traffic. So speaking from the CloudGenix side, you have traffic coming through CloudGenix going up to Prisma. You usually control the endpoint and the workstations. And you can have the endpoint stations trust the Prisma access for the authentication. So a lot of the cloud service providers, depending on the provider, like Office 365, has a built-in method to do this that integrates with Prisma. That's actually that federation type stuff where they're able to get that data as part of the trusted security provider process. For anything that's not specifically trusted by a cloud provider, like maybe your own internal stuff, then you can work with the client side of the deployment to actually get access to that data. That make sense? Okay. And Sangam, please, if I left anything out, please expand on it.
No. That's perfectly fine. And
Okay.
Thanks a lot for that.
Okay. Good. All right.